Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and this is going to be my review for Mission Impossible Fallout. I at first want to apologize about my cold. I want to get my review done, hoping to get healthy again in a couple days, but it's this time of year in my part of the country that just the weather change gets to me. But I do want to do my reviews. I want to keep up with them. So, here we go. The best intentions often come back to haunt you. Mission Impossible Fallout finds Ethan Hunt and his IMF team, along with some familiar allies, in a race against time after a mission gone wrong. Henry Cavill, Angela Bassett, and Vanessa Kirby also joined the dynamic cast, with filmmaker Christopher McQuarrie returning to the helm. So, as I said, director is Christopher McQuarrie. It stars Tom Cruise, Henry Cavill, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, and Rebecca Ferguson. This runs about 2.5 hours. It's a long movie. And so that's the breakdown of it. I'm going to say what I hope no other reviewer is saying, and this is a pretty bad movie. I I'm just being honest. I sat there and watched the whole thing. I had family with me. The whole theater was pretty much full. And I sat there and I was objective. I've seen them ad a million times. I'm like, okay. So I was kind of waiting for the scenes that came in the commercial and everything. But I was like, okay, I'm just going to watch the whole thing. And then I'm going to take half a day and I'm going to think about it. I've thought about it, and it's still kind of a bad movie. So if I'm kind of not focused here because I'm a little blurry, but if I'm not making much sense, I am trying to tell you how bad this movie is. That's my point, okay? So, Tom Cruise. He's older, he's getting on the other side of 50 here. He runs a lot. He does all his own stunts. I appreciate it. That's a positive. That's good. His supporting cast. This is not their best movie. Benji, I'm sorry, gets to say some funny things. Ving Rhames, yeah, yeah, Ving Rhames' character, he gets to say a lot of stuff. And then I don't know. The girl, like, I heard my brother explaining to some people who the girl was. Like, if you have not seen other Mission Impossible movies, this is not one that you can just see by itself. It's just not. So, why make a movie like that? You know what I mean? Like, that's my point of view about why people make movies like that is because they just don't really care about that one. It's more of a setup movie or it's a follow up movie, and that's its sole purpose. It's not to get really people drawn in, it's not really to keep people excited the whole time. It's to settle this storyline or to create that relationship. You know, that's like the purposes of it. It's not to really entertain anybody. And people do this all the time. You know, that's why we have sequels. That's why we have fifth movies. That's why we have seventh movies. Sometimes you just need a setup movie. Not much happens in it. The characters don't really try that hard. The actors know what's going on, so they can't put their whole heart into it. And that's what I got from Fallout. It's just what I got. I'm not going to remember it down the line, what happened in it. I'm not going to really care to see it again. And it's just going to be that movie of Mission Impossible that's like, oh yeah, they made that one, didn't they? You know, what I mean, everybody loves Ghost Protocol. It was great. I remember it. You know, um, it's just the way Mission Impossible kind of goes. And I think Fallout's going to be that one in their line that they just don't really care about. And I got that feeling while I was watching it. The first, I would say, hour and a half, I heard the same line about it being Tom Cruise's fault that he chose somebody's life over a bomb, that they had to repeat that line so many times. It got so boring and so annoying. And like people sitting in the theater, I could just feel their collective pain saying, oh, they're talking about that again. It happened in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and they're mentioning it an hour and a half into the movie for the fifth time. And it doesn't have any subject material. Like, I mean, okay, it's a bomb. I get it, okay? It's serious. But you're focusing on that way too much. You're not producing the characters. All of a sudden, you have somebody go flipping sides, which is totally predictable for a Mission Impossible movie, which is another thing I felt like they just slacked on, was like surprises and things. Like Alec Baldwin has a good line, and I wanted to remember it, was, oh, I can see why you guys enjoy this. And it's when Benji gets to wear a mask. And I'm like, well, of course they love doing it. It's all they know how to do. It's like their second time or third time in the movie doing it. I'm like, you're going to shove that down our throats and then have us be surprised that they're doing it? So anyways, there's a lot more I could rip apart on this movie. I'm just not feeling very mean right now. So I'll say this. The last 20 minutes were supposed to be amazing. They were. It was pretty cool. I knew what was going to happen. I knew how it was going to happen. It was a little bit more action-y than I expected, but it was predictable. Excuse me. The thing about Tom Cruise's character for Mission Impossible is that he cannot be the only one to have anything interesting to do. And I feel like he's gotten to that point. I really do. What was the line? Something about Ethan feels like he has to carry everybody's burden. And there's only been two women in his life that he likes, and liking the second one has been too much for him, or something like that. And I'm like, okay, so that's the point of the movie, right there. When he says that, I'm like, okay. So what you're saying is that the main character of this, the 100th movie of Mission Impossible, it's like, you're going to tell me that that character can't handle personal relationships when he's defeating the most villainous people on the planet Earth? That was such a stupid line. That just like ruined this whole movie for me. Um, I'm gonna put this up there with disappointment as much as the last Terminator was. Like, why have they not made another Terminator? Because that last one was so bad and didn't make sense to anybody. There's gonna be a lot of people that like Mission Impossible Fallout, and I'll watch a couple reviews here and there, but I'm just gonna say that this was disappointing. I This is not what I think a Mission Impossible movie is people talking for an hour and a half, and then you have a 20-minute action scene at the end that really kills it. I mean, that's not a Mission Impossible movie. Mission Impossible movies, I heard some words floating around like exhausting action. Yeah, it didn't have that. For literally the first hour and a half, people are talking and they're talking about the same thing, and they don't have their hearts in it. So I wanted to give this movie a D because that's the lowest grade I give movies. I don't give movies an F. But like I said, the action was good enough. And with everything that Tom Cruise does, how can you not like the guy? I mean, he just gives his all. You know, I mean, he gets older and he has terrible lines written for a supporting cast, and they're not really into it and they don't really care. And you can tell they're not as hyped as they are from the last movie, just the way that they're acting. I'll give this movie a C minus. I think that's fair, and I think a lot of people are not going to agree with me, and they like it, and I understand. It's Mission Impossible. It's Tom Cruise. I get it. I just feel like this is the movie that Mission Impossible people have to either explain themselves and that's not good for the general public, or the movie makers just were half-hearted about this, and they're going to end up explaining why. And I don't think that's good for anybody. So I just think it's going to be that movie that they can kind of throw away and nobody's going to really remember 6 months from now, to be honest. It's supposed to be a big blockbuster of the summer. I can't get over seeing Mamma Mia 2. I sat through Mission Impossible today, and I just could not get into it as much as I got into The Spy Who Dumped Me, which I watched not too long ago. I mean, come on, how is The Spy Who Dumped Me better than Mission Impossible, right? But I had a better time going to see that than I did Mission Impossible, and that's pretty sad. Thanks a lot, guys. Anybody who would listen to this whole 11 minutes, thanks a lot. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. Again, I'm sorry about my cold, but thanks a lot for watching. Enjoy your movies, guys. Thanks.